Fellow Rwandans, ladies and gentlemen, today I have a piece to share with my English audience. My theme today is how can we learn from our history? Based on my life experience, I have truly learned that no matter what, history repeats itself. Today in Rwanda, we have a regime that can't take dissent or criticism, the regime that can't take blame for its dictatorship and gross human rights violations, a regime that survives on lies to the world in regard to its country's development and security, while the population is dying of poverty. Voices of the people are totally silenced through arbitrary arrests, disappearances, and killings of political opponents, critics, journalists, and successful businessmen, both at home and abroad. Paul Kagame and his accomplices are therefore reminded of the following. Since independence, every leader in Rwanda was either taken out of power through a coup d'etat or was killed, meaning that the consequences of hanging on to power in Rwanda is automatically a death sentence. No president has ever lived along with another ex-president in this country, like it is happening in some other countries. For example, President Kayibanda, a hero to the so-called Hutu revolution and a pride to the Hutu for being against the Tutsis in the 1950s, was ousted by the military led by J.Habyarimana from the north. False charges were arraigned against him, got convicted, tortured, and thrown into jails until he died a miserable death. General Habyarimana, hailed as a North hero for his fellow Northerners and his MRND party, was praised so much for the development and security of the country. Of course, like everybody, is hailed from Kayibanda, Habyarimana, Kagame has been praised for doing all this. Habyarimana later was shot down from an airplane, shot by President Kagame, and from then, Rwanda ended up in chaos. The chaos that saw about 2 to 3 million Rwandans dead, both in Rwanda and Congo, between the years of 1994 and 2000s. President Pasteur Bizimungu, who was elected by the RPF executive to lead the government of the national unity after RPF took power. But greedy Kagame, who had an upper hand in the RPF military forces, could not let him perform, for during Bizimungu's tenure, Kagame rendered him a symbolic president. Just that. He had no powers. Bizimungu was harassed, falsely accused of cases. He was forced to resign under pressure and distress. He later tried to perform a political party, but he was accused of perpetrating division among Rwandans. He got charged arbitrarily, thrown into jail for many years. After his health deteriorated, he was detained from his home without access to genuine health care and is now dying a thorough death in Rwanda. Still talking about dictators, in the neighboring Uganda, Idi Amin, Uganda's dictator, for only 8 years plus a month, invaded by Ugandan exiles with the help of the Tanzanians, because he had invaded Tanzania, as Kagame is doing in the DRC right now. The invasion by the Tanzanians, of course, had a devastating issue on Uganda's infrastructure. Cities were brought down, and Idi Amin got removed from power and fled to die in exile in Saudi Arabia. To our west, in the DRC, former Zaire, Mobutu, the dictator of Congo, was the fourth richest man in the whole world, while his oppressed people lived in extreme poverty. He was later forced out and shortly to die in misery while on the run in exile. What is the significance of this? The significance is that Paul Kagame and those who are in his support, those who are being used to oppress the Rwandan people, should always understand that dictatorships and their inner circles end up miserably. And definitely, this has got a long-run devastating issues on the country's development and the population. Therefore, Kagame's system of government is not an exception to this rule of chronology of our historical issues. This pattern is likely to play out the same way it happened to his predecessors. Kagame, Rwanda's dictator for now 30 years, is advised to stop thinking of Rwanda as his monarch, where his children are going to inherit his reign. I don't see this happening in today's 21st century Rwanda. Enough must be enough. Thank you all for your attention. As usual on this same channel, this was Michael Mupende. Thank you.